Okay, welcome back from Thanksgiving break. We're going to start video 7, simplifying fractions. This should be relatively easy because we have done it before. We just didn't really talk about it. So what does it mean to simplify a fraction? Well, it means a simplified fraction is a fraction that has the smallest amount of equal parts while keeping the same value. So they're equivalent fractions, which means they're equal. One of them just has fewer parts. So here's an example. 2/4 and 1/2. You can tell that 2/4 and 1/2 are equivalent fractions because they're equal. They take up the same amount of spot. But this fraction has 4 parts. This fraction has 2 parts. So which one of them has fewer parts? 1/2. That makes it our simplified fraction. So these fractions are equivalent. They take up the same space. 1/2 is the simplified version because it has the smallest equal parts but still the same value. So they have the same value, it just has less parts. Alright, there's 2 ways that we can simplify fractions. One way is to build the fraction. So I want to know what 4/12 is in simplest form. So I built 4/12 already. So now I want to see if I can build it with less pieces. So we're going to check to see if 10, does 10 go into 12? No, it doesn't. So I can't use my tenths. Does 9 go into 12? No, so I can't use my nines. Does 8 go into 12? No, so I can't use my eights. Does 6 go into 12? Yeah, it does. How many times? 2, you're right. So we're going to take this blue piece and we're going to build until we get an equivalent fraction. Okay, so 2/6 is equal to 4/12. So right now 2/6 is smaller, or is simplified 4/12. So let's see if we can go smaller. Does 5 go into 6? No. Does 4 go into 6? No. Does 3 go into 6? Yeah, it does. How many times? 1, or twice, you're right. So we're going to take this, and we're going to slide it right here. Now you can't get any smaller than 1 piece. So we started with 4/12s, then we went to 2/6. Now we had, oops, not 2/16. 2/6. Now we have 1/3. So 12 equal parts, 6 equal parts, 3 equal parts. Which one of those has the least amount of equal parts? Ding, 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 1/3. So 4/12 in simplest form is 1/3. Okay, the other way we're going to do it is with birthday cake because we can't always build with our pieces. So remember when you use birthday cake, we use what numbers? What's the first one? 2, yeah. Then what? 3. Then what? 5. Then what? 7. Then what? 11. Then what? 13. Great. So we're going to do the same problem. We're just going to use birthday cake. 4/12s, we want to simplify it using birthday cake. So the first thing we do is draw our cake. The 4 and the 12 go in our cake. It's important to remember your numerator goes first. So we draw our cake. Does 2 go in here? It does. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. We can use 2 again. 2 goes into 2 1 time. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So here's our cake. Now, we can do a lot of things with this cake. Remember, I can find the GCF and the LCM right now by looking at this cake. So let's do that. The GCF, we do a G. 2 times 2 is 4. Good. The LCM, we draw a L and figure out what that is. What is the LCM? It's 12. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And that's great, we could find that, but the question is, what is it simplified? Well, simplifying begins with the letter S. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw an S in the top layer. So there's our S for simplified, and what is in the top layer? It's 1/3. So 4/12 simplified is 1/3. And again, if you notice, these are all equivalent fractions. 4/12, 2/6, 1/3. They're the same fractions we got when we built it with our pieces. Okay, what I want you to do is to simplify 24/36. You can't build it, so you have to do the cake. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and find the GCF, the greatest common factor, and the least common multiple. So go ahead and hit pause and solve all that, and when you're ready to check your answer, hit play. Alright, so if you did your cake correctly, go ahead and just double check to make sure you have your cake built correctly, and then let's get the information. Our G is 12, our L is 72, and 24/36 in simplest form is 2/3. So if you got that, great job. Let's do another one. Oops. Go ahead and simplify 16/48. Find the GCF for me, the greatest common factor, and the least common multiple. Go ahead and hit pause again and solve it. Okay, so if you check this, go ahead and check your cake. I know it looks a little jumbled, but make sure all your layers are right. Make sure your G is around the right thing, your L and your S. So your G should be 16, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48, so that's your least common multiple. And simplest form, your simplified version is 1/3. So remember, what we did was we went from having 48 total pieces to 3 pieces, but they still represent the same value. Remember how we talked about having pieces of pizza? Here you can have 1 giant piece or 16 small pieces. It's all the same, but this would have taken 48 pieces to build. This one only took 3. So this is the simplified version. So go ahead and advance to the next slide on blend space, and we're going to take a quiz.